It is time for Give Me the Headlines, presented by Hyundai. There it is. I like the silver football screaming through the air. That's almost like the Super Bowl trophy football. It's like they broke it off of the trophy and they threw it for a pass.
It is
the
like
people
that.
at Hyundai.
That is like that.
They can do that. You pay enough money, you can do
know
that with
it.
a Super Bowl trophy. If you're listening to this podcast, you have no idea what we just were talking about. The Bills beat the Broncos 31-7. Easy. Your headline for this one was?
Allen, all in a day's work. All in,
Allen.
Allen, Allen, a day's work.
Yeah,
Allen, a day's work.
Allen, a day's work.
I tried to say it on Football Night in America today, and I still messed it up, even though I practiced it before.
You've had multiple chances at it.
Yeah, exactly
Well,
right.
you get the idea.
You get it. It had something to do with Josh Allen and a normal day of work for him, right? That's what we're getting to.
But it didn't look like it was going to be a normal day. The game started out, and you see this long touchdown pass, which apparently was the first time in NFL history a rookie
Can you
quarterback.
believe that?
I could not believe
rookie
that.
quarterback, rookie receiver, touchdown
never.
pass in a playoff game. Never had happened.
I was like, they screwed that up.
When I heard that too, I was like, what?
like,
what are
someone's
you
getting
talking
fired
about?
over
How
that.
could that not have happened before?
it's true.
But no,
My
our
God.
research team is all over it, and they're like, no, that's right. That is the first time ever.
So that happened, and I'm
Right.
like, this is what Chris was talking about. I was like, the Broncos are not going to. And then as the game went on, I was like, what was Chris talking about? This game was
Well,
this game was easy.
I did say as the game would go on, Buffalo was going to blow them out.
That is
This
true.
is one of my best bets of the week. I kind of thought it would go like this. I thought Denver would actually make a few more plays than just 7,
Yeah.
right? But early in the game, he hits the big in cut to Cortland Sutton. Then they kind of run the same exact play, and this time they take the cheese, and they're a little worried about Cortland Sutton running the deep in cut, and that gives them the post over the top to Franklin. He throws a beautiful ball, touchdown, 7-0. Hey, Denver certainly early on was hanging around and then some to make the game interesting. They did the right things. I mean, offensive side of the ball, they came out throwing the football. I think they knew they weren't going to be able to run the ball all that well and successful, so they tried to throw the football. The big thing is what they did, I thought, on the defensive side of the ball. They played a little more conservative early on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
That's why I thought it might be a little more of a shootout, because I thought Denver, they like to pressure and they like to play some man-to-man and do some crazy things. And I went, well, if they do too much of that against Josh Allen, we might see some back and forth early on. Instead, they kind of played, we'll play shell coverage. We're gonna call your bluff. Will you run the ball? Will you stay patient? Will Josh Allen stay patient and take the check down and run when he needs to and do that? And he did. And that's been the difference with Josh Allen this year. Early in the game, they didn't panic. They didn't try to force anything. He didn't make one dicey decision the whole game. They called a few quarterback design runs. He scrambled a few times. They were running the ball really well with James Cook. They had almost over 100 yards about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Just to tell you, that's how good they were running the football. And then what happens? Then it starts to get like, damn, we're dying a slow death. Let's start taking a chance a little here and there. And then we know that's when big plays start to happen. The biggest play of the day, though, was the 4th and 1 that puts them up 21-7. The throw to Ty Johnson in the back of the end zone. That was an incredible play.
Here it is. We got the dots if you're watching. Josh Allen buying a little time. Looking, of course, you're just waiting for that big banana route from your running back, and there it is in the back of the end zone.
Exactly right. Well, there's another play like the Jalen Hurts. This is 7 seconds or 6.8 seconds, but is not in the pocket, like you said. This is, you got out of the pocket. They're hoping for in this play, and if you watch this and it re-racks, you'll see in a second, they want to get Ty Johnson the ball on a wheel route from the get-go. But Denver does a really good job covering it. There's nothing there to be open. But this is what's crazy about Josh Allen, and this is why he and Lamar lead the MVP race, because you can play the perfect defense, you can execute it almost perfect, and he goes, oh, no, I can run out here and buy more time, and then I can float and buy even a little more time, and then, I could throw a ball off my back foot and, with touch 45 yards and drop it in a spot that's nice and easy for my running back to kind of come across the back of the end zone, who did an incredible job keeping his feet in bounds.
Oh, my gosh.
That was, it really was. I mean, I don't know if it was lucky or good. Either way, he got him in, and the game was over from that moment. That seemed to be the thing that broke Denver's back.
Yeah, because it could have been 10-10 at halftime
Exactly.
with that missed field goal.
Missed the field goal.
Allen's time to throw 6.78 seconds, so very close to the other one. The fourth longest on a 4th down touchdown in the playoffs in the next-gen era, so a lot of qualifiers there. But this is more interesting. It was his 10th completion to a running back of more than 10 yards downfield this season, more than double any other quarterback.
I don't know any team that throws the ball down the field quite to that extent,
right?
As far as doing that. I mean, It's Ty Johnson. It's the kid Ryan Davis, right? He's the one that got hurt. Ray Davis, excuse me. Yeah. Ray Davis got hurt with the kind of the hit to the head, right? That was down the field. They trust their guys. They do. And if they go, hey, you want to play defense and take away all these other things, we don't mind our running back man-to-man on a linebacker. We like that matchup. So this is what's different from Buffalo than years past. They can run the ball on just about anybody. They can protect like we saw them do on that big play, to where if you just think you're going to get to Buffalo rushing 4 all game long, you're not. He's going to have time and he's going to pick you apart. So that's part of the bind they put you in. Because, yeah, they can run the ball. Yeah, you're scared of their big plays. But he's playing a patient brand of football, too, to where if you rush forward and try to take away big plays, he'll just scramble for 5. He'll take the check down for 5 here. And that's where he's different in the past, too. So like I said all year, like we've been saying, he has the support system, let alone he's playing at an ultra-high, mature level right now, and that's what's going to make them a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's like you see some of these, and like Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper didn't do much, but they didn't need to do much. Khalil Shakir was there. Samuel had that big play.
Exactly right.
They've got a lot of other weapons.
And then you run for 210 yards on top of that, right? So that's all you need to do. And that's where they're getting a little bit too. They're getting a little bit into just like their opponent next week, just like your Detroit Lions, right? They're a little bit like, pick your poison. What do you want to stop? And then, therefore, we'll figure out how we want to screw you off of that, right? They are a little bit of that. They are extremely complete offense that way, and they pose problems for you. And they're certainly the strength of their football team right now is that Buffalo Bills offense.
Hey, Pete, let's pull up the dots of that 55-yard touchdown to Curtis Samuel, because this was the first deep completion allowed by Patrick Surtain as the nearest defender in coverage this season.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at how this happened.
This is a play, and again, this is a tough play. I don't care who you are, Deion Sanders, Darrelle Revis, Patrick Surtain. But the big thing here, and when you watch this again, is basically it's 4-by-1, right? There's 4 eligibles to the left.
Yeah.
If you watch it in real time and actually get to see the highlight and some of that, you'll see the Broncos got confused with who to pass it off to. And even on this play, Surtain kind of takes a wrong step or two, like he wasn't sure who he was supposed to take after the motion. You could see.
He's moving with Hollins.
He moves with Hollins, but he's got to take Curtis Samuel, right?
Yeah.
So he moved with the wrong guy. Obviously, the 4-by-1 thing put them in a little bit of a mix-up on the defensive side, and that's where, again, Buffalo's got manpower, they got physicality, they got a few guys that are talented, and then Joe Brady, every game has a few plays where you go, ooh, that was creative, that was cool, I like how they do that, and that's why, of course, he's in the running for a head coaching job.
And it's why, didn't I see Josh Allen out there say, don't hire him?
Yeah, don't hire him. He's tried, he's a horrible person, don't hire him.
Which is the appropriate thing to say. Right. Whenever you go, oh, man, this guy needs a head coaching job, you should be a little curious, like, why would you say that? Well, you don't want to lose him.
No doubt about that. Here's one of my pet peeves of the game. It was 10-7 Bills.
Yeah.
Josh Allen scrambles, does a great job in the pocket. Amari Cooper, I believe it was Amari Cooper in the back of the end zone, breaks free. Mm-hmm. No, actually, I think it was Dawson Knox. Surtain held a guy. And Josh Allen yelled at the refs. The refs actually walked onto the sidelines and came to talk to him on the bench and told him to stop yelling at them, which I've never seen before, ever.
Yeah.
I would have, if that was me at quarterback, I'd be like, don't worry about how I act. When somebody gets mauled, call the pass interference. So let's start there, right? That was a weird moment in the football game, but I only bring it up because you know my thoughts. Playoff football sometimes, all of a sudden, the way the game was reffed the whole season, it changed. And that was one of the few this weekend where I went, what? Like, he bear hugged the guy and tackled him as he was spinning out and going to be wide open for a touchdown, and Josh Allen couldn't throw him the ball. And that, of course, kept Denver in the game a little bit longer than maybe they should have been.
Per Next Gen stats, the Bills utilized 6 or more offensive linemen on 22% of their plays against the Broncos, their third highest rate in a game this season. So they were ready if the Broncos wanted to bring the pressure.
They are.
So we'll protect our quarterback.
Well, and then that's where you get back into your backs, the backseat. So let's bring an extra tackle in. We could still block with 5 or 6 guys, and we can still maybe put our back out, right?
Yeah.
But we have an extra big body in here to feel good if we want to slide maybe 5 offensive linemen one way, and then they leave big number 70, Alec Anderson, as the other guy. He's usually that extra O lineman, and they can feel good about him being on the edge with the pass rusher or whoever else. But, yeah, they're one of the teams that uses the extra lineman about as much as anybody in football, and it serves them well with, yeah, we can run the ball and blow you off the ball that way, but we can also go, let's call a play and keep people in and let people go down the field and let the magic man, release the rocket launcher, or if it's not there, he scrambles and runs, and that's one of the problems the Bills pose for any defense that plays them.
6.78 seconds later, you're in trouble.
So
some accolades for this Bills team here. Look at what they've done here. So Josh Allen now 23 career playoff touchdown passes. That breaks Jim Kelly's franchise record. So when we're growing up, the Bills are in the Super Bowl every 4 years in a row. They're just one of those teams that's just like they racking up all these playoff wins. And now Josh Allen has tied Jim Kelly for the franchise record.
Josh Allen's rap in the playoffs is so off by everybody in the public and the media. It's crazy. He's one of the greatest playoff quarterbacks in the history of football. I mean, ever. They had there's only one game that I can look at in Josh Allen and go, he didn't play very good in that playoff game. When they lost to the Bengals, right? The year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. Right? That was like the only year ever, right? And that might not have been the Bengals Super Bowl year. It might have been the year the Bengals went to Kansas City and then lost in the AFC Championship. But either way, that's the only game I look at to go like, okay, he didn't play his best, but they were dominated as a team if you go back and watch the game. It was over early. You could tell Cincinnati was the better football team. Every other game, Josh Allen has played phenomenal. Or if he didn't, like the year they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs, they were so outclassed, like they weren't going to win the game anyways. So this is where I just don't understand it. He's not going to win the MVP this year. Lamar Jackson's going to win the MVP. It's already done. You saw with the All-Pro team, Lamar's first team All-Pro. That means everybody voted him to be the MVP too. So that's over. It's over. And I don't agree with it. I don't. Because we came on here more weeks, more people every week came on and went, whoa, McCourty, Jason Garrett, Josh Allen. He definitely had more weeks than Lamar did.
Yeah.
Lamar has a Hall of Fame first ballot runner. His running back ran for 1,900 yards. It's like, what, 10th most in the history of football? His support cast is better, right? But that's where I don't agree with it. I love Lamar, but I do think Josh Allen should have won the MVP. He's not going to win it, and maybe that motivates them, and this is going to be awesome about next week, Lamar versus Josh Allen.
That's a good call.
Incredible.
So Denver, real quick here. They were outscored 21-0 in the second half.
Right.
They lost 3 straight road games, allowing 30 or more points in all 3 of those games.
Yeah.
So ending the year with a whimper, at least on the road for that defense. We said they had kept games close and won some double-digit games. Well, this one they were not able to do that. So what do you make of, obviously, a positive overall for the Denver Broncos?
Right.
But where do you assess where they are at the end of this whole thing?
I love where the Broncos are. They were playing with house money. That's what we talked about a little bit last week, right? They weren't supposed to be here. The fact that they were here and they're still paying Russell Wilson $45 million, right? They have the lowest cap ever for a team to make the playoffs, right? So, they have no extra money. This year they'll have a little bit more money. They took it all on the chin this year with Russell Wilson, and I'd say watch out. Sean Payton, as you see, he's a special coach. Now they get one more sexy game-breaking wide receiver. They get another guy or two on the defensive side of the ball. They are going to be a force in the AFC going forward. And Bo Nix is a really damn good player. You saw today. Again, they're not super explosive and amazing on offense. They can't run the ball, as you saw, so that's an issue. And then their receivers are good, but nobody where you're like, oh, gosh, if they don't double him, they're going to lose the game, right? So there's not that. You saw his ability to run today, led the team in rushing. He's special that way. Man, they're only going to get better and better from here on out. So this was a great year by Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, add a little bit. What would you add if you were the Broncos? What's the one
I think
area?
They need a game-breaking receiver.
One more receiver.
Yep. I think they probably need a big-time D tackle. Somebody in the interior part of the defense. Like Zach Allen's really good, don't get me wrong. He's not necessarily known for his run stopping. Okay, so that's where I could see one thing. I wouldn't be shocked if they even went the running back route too.
Sure.
And tried to get his version of an Alvin Kamara.
It seems like they got a lot of guys that they kind of like.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. There's just not that sizzle.
Javonte Williams, Audric Estime.
Yeah,
right?
Estime, right. They got a lot of good players on their football team. They just got to get now, like I always say, it's like they got the meat and the potatoes. Now it's time to go out and get some sizzle players.
Yeah.
Some guys that can make some plays in some big moments. They were in a tough spot today, right? Their defense, they didn't know what to do. They were scared to play too aggressive because if you do that, Josh Allen might make crazy plays. So they tried to play the conservative route, and then they started to realize, oh shit, we're dying a slow death. They're running on us. Then they went back to aggressive, and then that's where just Josh Allen and everybody got hot and on fire, and they dominated the football game.
And that was the longest segment ever of Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. There it is, the football shooting through the air.
Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's playoff time, baby.
So make sure to smash that subscribe button, as they say. We got game recaps coming up. We got all of our Super Bowl 59 coverage from Radio Row. You will be in New Orleans yourself.
And you're going to be there at some point, too, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies.